Everyone. It's Thursday evening at 8 o'clock, and time for my LinkedIn Live that I do every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. India time. And I connect with different experts from different walks of life. And I get the opportunity to interact with them, to know them and their work, and learn from them. And thanks to LinkedIn and different networking groups and communities that I'm part of, that I get to meet so much of talent from the pool of talent that we have all across our country. So this is my live conversation, which is Heartstring Conversations Direct Dil Se, and I'm really thrilled to be here again on this Thursday evening. And like I said, these live conversations is an opportunity that I get to connect to different from different walks of life, and we have conversations around parenting, on relationships, on self-love, on different professional growth. And again, this time I have a wonderful guest who is Miss Amrita Kannan. Hi Amrita, good evening.
Hi, Madhurima. Good evening, and lovely to be here. Thank you so much for the invite.
Yeah, so Amrita is connecting with me from a different city altogether. And before I go ahead and introduce Amrita and tell all of you what is the conversation we're going to have today, so this is something which has always, come to me. Although I left the corporate world many years ago, but I do have my clients, I do have my friends who are changing jobs, who are looking for better opportunities, and there are so many of you on LinkedIn as well who's connecting to people to find the right growth and opportunity. And the first thing that comes to our mind is our professional profile, our resume. So probably now everything is so virtual, but still that entire thing of creating your professional profile in one page is very important. And I think our resume is our ticket to countless opportunities. And whether we are a fresher or we are an experienced professional, any point of time, any part of the industry, any level you are, you need a professional resume. And I think it's just not about sending the resume and to introduce ourselves, because even before we will go for an interview, our resume reaches the HR, our resume reaches the leader. And it's very important that we create that right impression by giving the right information, the professional way we are presenting our achievements and everything. And obviously the interview is a different ball game altogether, but that first impression comes from the resume. And I think creating a proper professional resume is very important, and that's where I think a professional and an expert like Amrita comes into picture. So my guest this evening, once again, everyone, is Amrita Kannan. She's an English language trainer, entrepreneur, motivational speaker, and also the founder of The Way Forward. And through her work, she has helped many people and many professionals, more than 100 job aspirants all over the country, to prepare their professional resumes and also to prepare for their job interviews, irrespective of whichever part of the hierarchy they were belonging to. So, thank you, Amrita, for joining in for this beautiful conversation.
Thank you so much, Madhurima. And I think the way you have conveyed about the whole introduction, plus the message about the resume and the CV, it's beautiful. I really enjoyed it, and I can actually sync with the way you're saying about it. So, just one thing I want to add is that I've done it across the world also. I have clients globally, and the resume is, as you said, the first thing which the person sees. I call it the first image of yours. So you're giving an image, you're printing it and sending it to them, or you're sending an e-copy nowadays. So
Right.
it's very important. Yes, certainly.
Right. So, so coming to our my first question to you, Amrita, is what made you choose this profession? I know you were a engineer at one point in time, and why this complete shift, and why going behind the scenes and getting into the space to help people create their resume, prepare for interview? Why did you make this shift?
I never had a good guidance in this area. I'm an engineer, but I happened to go through this phase. Towards the end of the fourth year, we were pushed into it when the placements were coming and so on. But what was the right way to make a resume? I never got to know. And I wanted to guide people in this, and also in terms of the interview aptitude preparation. We have aptitude questions everywhere. Every single interview a fresher takes, there's an aptitude paper which
Yeah.
they have to write, but they are clueless about how to prepare for it. Some do, some don't. So it's very important. I thought that guidance will help them, and it'll give them a perfect way to enter into the corporate world. Everyone wants to become a corporate person, who wants to go and venture into IT field or whatever field they want, but they don't know how to step into it. So that's where
Right.
I wanted to be, and help them and make their future brighter.
Absolutely. So, why, coming back to our topic of discussion today, Amrita, is that, why do you think having that professional resume is so important to have a competitive edge in today's job market? I mean, why isn't enough that, okay, I'll just probably send a one pager PDF with links to all my things or to my LinkedIn profile, and maybe just go and talk? Why do I still need to prepare a resume? Why is it still so important in today's day and age of so much of AI and technology and everything? We are still going the old school thought of creating a resume.
So there's this one thing I learned from one mentor who I was following for a couple of months. Like he says that AI will not, replace us, but the person who knows AI will replace us. Similarly, we need
Ah,
to show what we are aware of. We need to show what we are
right.
capable of. Simply just putting the links together, be it Instagram or
Hmm.
Facebook or LinkedIn, just putting the links will not speak for us. We have to put the efficient things that we have done, the
Right.
something groundbreaking things that we have done, spearheading things that we have done. All these things speak for us. So when we
Right.
send our resume, all those highlights will be the things which the people want to see. That will get us to the interview, and speaking in
Right.
the way that we should speak at the interview will get the job. So that's the way we need to
Right.
go. Even with AI being there, we need to prepare the resume in a very efficient way, highlight the key things, and yeah, there are a few key things which we'll discuss, but this is the main idea. Without a resume, without highlighting, I don't think we'll be able to get into the interview. That's why.
Okay. So, when somebody's preparing a resume for themselves, irrespective of which level of hierarchy they are getting a job, if you can give us maybe the five key elements or three key elements which any professional who's preparing a resume should keep in mind so that it makes a good impression and covers the primary important highlights of that person's career, irrespective of how many years of experience the person has. So, if you can probably give us a little framework, Amrita, that these are the five non-negotiable things a person should look keep in their resume to stand apart.
So, yes, that's a very important question. So, the trend of current thing is that they have AI tools also to scan a resume and select for the shortlisting process and all those things. And we
Hmm.
go through something called ATS, application tracking system. So, right, that
Right.
part is also important. So, ATS resume people ask for. So, we need to identify what kind of resume we want. Are we going into a system, applying it through a system, or are we going in through a referral? That's a different area. So we need to know first thing that. Then
Hmm.
second, coming into what we need to put into the resume, the keywords which we see in the job description that we get over either on LinkedIn or through a friend on the website. Wherever you have a job description, you have key pointer words. Like for example, Python can be one, MongoDB, you have technical various things, or for example, taxation, you have GST filing, you
Hmm.
have payroll, everything. So we need to
Right.
know which is our keyword which we need to highlight in our resume, which is what will get us to the interview, or which will what will get us the job. So highlight those keywords, identify what type of resume you want to, be it a functional or a chronological or a mixed, or is it going to be colored, or is it going to be a black and white
Hmm.
ATS resume. You have so many, so we need to identify the resume type. And then of course, I tell this to the freshers especially, that never put headings like job description, or I mean, sorry, job experience, or
Okay.
maybe the certifications or accolades. Such headings we can give in our resume, but don't put the headings which are not applicable to you. People just put the
Okay.
heading and they leave it empty, so they don't have an experience, but they put job experience, but that's not necessary. So
Yeah.
be conscious
So
on what you're
probably that
putting.
was they must have taken help from a standard template from some
Yes,
website, and then
yes.
they could not edit it. So we have to be a little cognizant of that fact.
Very true. I mean, people are clueless on how to start and where to start, where to end. So this is one thing that
Right.
we need to be aware of what we want. And when we take it from
Yeah.
a website, as you say, we need to be conscious on. We need to remove few portions. We shouldn't just send it
Right. Right.
blindly, right? So that's the thing. So these, I think, will be the basic ideas of how to improve the resume preparation ways methods.
Right. So I have, a very simple question, which I think a lot of people who's going to watch this live conversation will also feel, especially for, for freshers as well as people who have experience. So let's say when it's a fresher, they have applying for the job for the first time, so they would want to show some kind of an experience, probably from their internship or things like that. For somebody who's just fresh out of college, from the MBA
Mhm.
college or from an engineering college. So nowadays most colleges and universities, they have these clubs and things like that, which children participate in schools and colleges. So do you think when a fresher is applying for a job, uh, can they include these experiences of working as an intern, or probably being a president of this council in my college or this university, I was a team leader? Can they include these kind of experiences? Do they count when they're looking for a job, even
It
if they're not related to their job?
it actually adds a lot of value. So it's very
Okay.
important to add such things because it shows that you're willing to work in a team, and it shows your
Mm.
ability to, take decisions, be a
Right.
part of a group, and, work along with people and do various activities which they have done. So it's very important. And one more thing, I think people add languages, just adding on to your question. They
Hmm.
add languages, right? So the language part is also very important because it shows that you're willing to learn. So,
Okay.
internships or the club activities, the languages, all these things are highlights of your willingness to grow. So, when
Right.
we add those, it actually adds more essence and flavor to the resume.
So now coming back to, you've given us the tips that these are the key things we should not miss. Now I'm going to ask you, you have gone through so many resumes and you have created them, corrected them. If you can tell us, five common mistakes that most people make when they are making a resume, obviously before they come to a professional like you, when they're doing it through them, Google say, help leke, or, downloaded a template from some website, or even nowadays people take help from chat GPT. So
Yes.
still they can be mistakes that are made by a human or even by AI. So that's where I guess the expertise comes from of you professionals like you. That what are those common mistakes, Amrita, which you have observed professionals make when they are preparing their resume?
So there are few actually, like, first spelling mistake. Do a error check. I
Oh.
have seen many resumes with errors, so it's better to do a
Huh.
complete check. And especially Word plays a good place. When you take it to Word, it gives you the spelling with the autocorrect, underlining with red color and all. So that is a benefit. That one way we can do. Then second, of course, as I said, we should input the keywords, but sometimes people put all the keywords into the resume, so that will be not relevant, right? So something which is not
Right.
relevant to you, don't do that. So bringing the relevant point, the third tip will be never fake in your resume. I would
Ah.
suggest to never fake, because people add experiences and say that I worked here, but they might not have. And when they are questioned about it, just their body language gives them away.
Ah. Correct.
So
Correct. Correct.
that is something which we should avoid as much
Mhm.
as possible. And then we need to, actually remove that declaration thing which we put on our resume. I hereby declare that I have,
Oh
done this
yes,
resume.
yes.
Long back
Huh.
we had that. I have done
Yeah,
it in my
that's a
first
very
resume.
old format. Very old format.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So that format is what people are still following in colleges, and the freshers,
Oh,
they use only that
acha.
format. So that will be my fifth step. Change your format to something which is, attractive. If you want to go
Hmm.
for 8 years, 8 years plus attractive is a package possible. So learn about
Correct.
that and then prepare your resume. Maybe in college you have to have a black and white resume which they give for internships, but you
Huh.
can have your own designed version of your resume which will look better and give you better prospects.
Right, right. So,
Yes.
now you talked about, taking help from AI and balancing it out. But, with so much of easy availability of information, because it's just like, you go to chat gpt and you give the command and they create a proper resume for you. You actually don't
Yes.
have to make much of an effort. So in such a scenario that, many a times I've heard about this from my friends who are in hr, and people who are in the hiring level, that they say there is a particular, I think it's the ats where you check if
Yes.
the information is correct or if it has been robotically generated. So
Correct.
does it also happen, have you encountered any such thing that somebody just copy pasted the resume from somewhere and it got rejected by the hr or probably the team head or anything, and it does not get approved or accepted? So then what is the way people can approach? Because most people nowadays, even the experienced ones, are taking help from ai and taking help from chat gpt, taking help from different websites to create their resume. So how do you know? Because the same template and same format can be used by so many people. So is there some issue if people have the same format or same template when they are creating resumes, or it always have to be a unique one?
No, templates can be similar. Templates are not the problem. What you put inside the resume should be different and unique to you, and it should be relatable to you. If you're asked, you should be able to explain it. And when
Right.
you're putting something from the AI, you should be conscious that you have actually inputted something. You're not going to
Hmm.
give that, give me 5 lines about project management. You're going to give what you have done. You're
Yeah.
going to tell it what you have done, train the model,
Correct.
and
Correct.
get the information, and then you can use that. That's not wrong. I mean, the content what you have given is reworded. That's fine, but the whole
Right.
content shouldn't be generated from AI.
Right, right. So, also when I was asking about the freshers and their experience, now I have many friends and my contemporaries, who have been in the industry for 20 plus years. So probably they have worked in the same organization and they have grown, and they have many, many job enrichments or job rotation within the organization. So, maybe if they have worked in one organization for 15 years or 20 years, so every 4 5 years they have got a raise, they have got a role change. So that is one. Second is if they have changed jobs after 4 5 years, so there is so much of experience and probably they have excelled in all of those roles. So it
Yes.
actually becomes difficult for somebody who's like 15 plus 18 plus years of experience. Okay, oh my god, how am I going to put so much of information in one page or 1.5 page or 2 page? So I've really seen this struggle with a lot of my friends, a lot of people from my networks. If you can just give some tips for people like them.
So I'm actually making one resume for such a person currently. I'm working on
Oh,
it. It's open
okay.
on my screen. I can see it. So that
Yeah.
matches the situation. So I mean, basically, it takes a lot of time to think and make. It takes. I generally give an out in a resume, the sample or the draft in 1 week, but this will take a little longer because of the words and the the
Correct.
points which we have to put in. There'll be a lot of
Yes.
reciprocation in terms of what to put, what to avoid, and all those things. So
Hmm.
there is
Hmm.
something called a functional resume which they can check, where the
Okay.
experience comes in the side and the accomplishments or the key activities that they have handled, which they want to highlight, comes in the center.
Hmm. Hmm.
That can be one
Okay.
thing. And of course, when they have so much experience, they'll have so many accolades and accomplishments which can be highlighted, and that's the key part which is seen by the recruiter. They are
Right.
looking for that. So maximum of 3 pages will be suitable for them. I see nine
Okay.
pages 11 pages resume. So you really,
Really? Oh my
yeah.
God, that's a lot, and that's really a lot. So I have a very, simple question. I might find it silly to ask that. Do we still need to add our photograph on our resume? I mean, still a lot of people doing that. I see a lot of people doing that. So nowadays, people even create those, soft copies of the resume with a lot of colors, very professional, color themes and
Mhm, mhm.
formats and all. And I've seen it on Canva itself because I prepare a
Yes.
lot of work through my for my work through Canva, and I've seen a lot of people prepare their resumes from Canva and they
Mhm.
add their picture and things like that. So is that a professional way, Amrita? What do you suggest? Should people do that?
If they are not applying through ATS, yes, they can do it. If they are applying to ATS, then ATS doesn't detect many of the Canva features of the segmentations in the side and the center. So that is why we need to check what kind of application we are doing. Are we going through a referral? Then the Canva way works. It's good. But if we are going directly through ATS, then it's better to have a resume which is suitable for that. It's which is more towards the black and white. It's not completely the old version. Little better than that. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I think I have asked you so many questions. I mean, all the things that I had could think of, and I actually reached out to few people from my network and asked them that I'm speaking to a professional expert who's going to help us. So give me your questions, and most of the questions I asked Amrita have thanks to my friends and my colleagues. So just one question at the end, if I have to ask you that as a professional, when you create so many resumes and everything, and for the people who are watching this live conversation or whoever is going to watch the telecast later on, if they have to reach you, what would be the right way to approach you? Would they need to already have a resume with themselves and probably share that copy with you, or how do you go about it? If you can just take all our audience through the way that a person can reach out to you and how you would help them in the time frame and everything, if you can just give a brief idea about it.
Sure. So I'm available on LinkedIn and, of course, other social media platforms. And basically, when they come in, I ask them the question of what they want to and how are they applying to the mode of application. And
Right,
then, if they have a previous resume, and many people have various other previous resumes, like previous resume
right.
and the one previous prior to that, and so on. So I get all those things. Or if they are a fresher or they want to start from scratch, I get the details through voice messages or calls and notes and everything, and then we
Yeah,
go on with the reciprocation phase where we discuss and we add content and we remove content, what they want, what they don't want to highlight. And so those discussions go on, and this takes almost 1 week to give a complete draft, post which we actually finalize it, and then we close the resume.
wow, that's
That's
quite
fast.
fast. So I was just wondering that does it take a lot of time, because people might have that kind of a urgency to start
Right,
looking for a
right.
change or something like that. So
Hmm.
one last question, Amrita, which a friend just messaged me and to ask you is for women especially. Before we leave, this is my last question to you. For a lot
Right,
of women, they take a career break. Okay, and those career breaks can lead to maybe 1 year to even 4 5 years. So when
right.
they again choose to come back to corporate work, or even probably they chose to take a break from the corporate work and they wanted to try something on their own,
Hmm.
probably they wanted to follow their passion or start a new business of their own, or maybe get into consulting work, for whatever choices they had.
Correct.
So when they again choose to look for jobs, when they again choose to reach out to corporates and HR, this gap that they have had, either because they were not working for somebody else, they were working for themselves, or they were on a break, should they use that and mention that in their professional resume, or should it just be left blank and this conversation and the interview, then only you talk about it?
So currently, the job market is accepting such a job break. It's after
Right.
COVID that change has come in, and people are
Hmm.
looking for people with career break. I have a company where I am consulting, and
Really?
I have, yeah, they are looking for career break people. So they say that they get a lot more maturity and
Value.
learnings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that actually is going as the new trend. So either you
Nice.
can go for just mentioning, if you're doing an entrepreneurship, you can put it as entrepreneur for that particular period. That's not wrong. Or if you want to avoid it, then you can make a functional resume, as I said, where your
Right.
experience or the job, the time you worked from this date to this date comes at the side, and in the center you have the experience that you have done. So
Okay.
that is the best way we can actually cater to this, right?
Wow, that's nice, because I still feel a lot of women are scared to put it on paper that they took a break and they had other choices to do. So thank you so much, Amrita. I really did not know how time flew, and we had such an interesting conversation. It was lovely talking to you, and I, honestly did not imagine that this is quite a very technical, a very serious kind of a topic, and you really made it very simple, very relatable. So thank you so much, Amrita. It was a pleasure talking to you. And before we close this conversation, I really want to thank each and everyone who was part of this conversation, and the people who contributed to the questions, and also the ones who are going to watch this live telecast later on my page. So thank you so much. If you still want to reach out to Amrita, you can always reach out to her on LinkedIn, and she will definitely help you and guide you. So thank you so much, Amrita, for taking out time on Thursday evening for me after a hard day of work and a lot of training as I was connecting with you. So really, really thank you, because you really added a lot of value to all the listeners who are listening to this conversation. So I really wish you all the best. May you reach out to more and more people and change their lives and help them find the right jobs.
Very, very, very happy and honored to be here. Thank you so much, Madhurima, for all the questions and the amazing conversation. I think your energy was also a main reason for the
Thank you
conversation to
so
be
much.
really relaxed.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
And thanks to all the people who have added the questions and to the viewers, and looking forward to discussing more with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye. Good night.